Lucas was sitting at the table of an elegant restaurant, a place he used to frequent with Clara, his girlfriend. The ambience was illuminated by bright chandeliers and decorated with fresh flowers, but the beauty of the location seemed overshadowed by the weight of his frustration. He looked at Clara, who was radiant in a dress that accentuated her figure. Beside her, Victor, a charismatic billionaire, wore a confident smile, as if the world belonged to him. Lucas felt a pang of betrayal as he noticed how at ease Clara seemed next to someone so different from him. "Lucas, I need to tell you something," Clara began, her hesitant voice contrasting with the sparkle in her eyes. "I've decided to be with Victor. He offers me opportunities one never imagined." Her words fell like a balm on Lucas, and he felt his heart sink. "But Clara, we had plans. Dreams. How can you do this?" Anger and pain mingled in his voice, and he struggled to keep his emotions in check. I know, Clara replied, her expression growing more serious. "But I need to be realistic. Victor can help me achieve what I want. And besides, he makes me happy." Lucas looked down, unable to meet Clara's gaze. The betrayal hurt, but more than that, he felt lost. "And me? What am I to you? Just a memory?" She hesitated, and Lucas realized that the words she didn't say weighed just as heavily as the ones she had spoken. He took a deep breath, trying to regain control. "If this is what you want, Clara, I can't do anything about it. I just hope you're happy," he said, his voice low and trembling. When he got home, Lucas sat in his room, surrounded by photos of Clara and moments that now felt so distant. He looked at the images, each telling a story that now seemed lost. "I can't let myself be down," he murmured to himself. "I need to change. I need to do something that defines me." He grabbed a notebook and a pen, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to sort out his thoughts. He began scribbling ideas, mixing words and drawings. "Technology, sustainability, a positive impact," he murmured, each word a desperate attempt to lift himself up. After hours of reflection, Lucas decided he could no longer live in Clara's shadow. He needed to find his own path. "If I want to be someone, I have to do it for me," he thought, determined. The next day, Lucas called his childhood friends, Tiago and Mariana, for a meeting at his small apartment. He knew them well and recognized that sharing his idea was a necessary step. "Guys, I'm thinking of something big. Something that can really make a difference," he started, excitement growing in his voice. Mariana, always the most enthusiastic, smiled. "What do you have in mind, Lucas? You know we're with you, right? I want to create content about conscious consumption and sustainability. We can use technology to show people how small changes can have a huge impact," Lucas explained, his eyes shining with the passion he felt. Tiago, who had always been more skeptical, raised an eyebrow. "Do you really think this will work? Do you believe people care?" "Yes, I believe. People are starting to care more about what they consume. We can be the voice of this change," Lucas replied, his confidence beginning to solidify. "We need a plan. Let's dedicate ourselves to this and do something big." The energy in the room was palpable, and the three began discussing ideas, laughing and dreaming together like in the old days. Lucas felt he was regaining not only his determination, but also the joy he had lost with Clara's departure. He was about to embark on a journey that could change not just his life, but also impact the world around him. Lucas was sitting at his desk, the soft light of the late afternoon filtering through the window. The trio had spent the previous night editing the video they hoped would go viral. He looked at the screen, where the title Sustainable Fashion, What You Need to Know, shone brightly. Tiago and Mariana were by his side, their eyes sparkling with anticipation. This was the first step toward what he had always dreamed of, and he felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. "Do you think it will be well received?" Tiago asked, adjusting his glasses as he watched Lucas. "Of course. If the video does well, we could attract the attention of some brands and even investors," Lucas replied, trying to convey confidence, even though uncertainty still gnawed at him inside. Mariana smiled excitedly. "And you didn't forget to include the part about environmental impacts, right?" That's crucial. People need to understand what's at stake. Yes, I emphasized that. What matters is that from now on, we're doing something that really matters, Lucas said, his voice firm. He looked at his friends, feeling grateful to have them by his side on this journey. Let's make a difference. That week, the video was published and quickly began to gain traction. Views skyrocketed, and enthusiastic comments started pouring in. Lucas and his team took turns on social media, responding to followers and promoting the content. It was a whirlwind of emotions. Lucas couldn't help but smile as he saw the interactions. It felt like a new energy was flowing into his life. "Look at this," Mariana exclaimed, pointing at the computer screen. "We have over 10,000 views in just one day. This is amazing. We're doing something good, and people are noticing," Lucas replied, his heart racing. The confidence he had lost with Clara's breakup was slowly coming back, and he felt he was on the brink of transforming his life. "We need more content like this. How about a video on how to build a sustainable wardrobe?" Tiago suggested, excited. "Great idea. We can draw on our own experiences and help people make more conscious choices," Lucas said, already thinking about how to structure the next video. With the success of the first video, Lucas received an invitation to an influencer event happening the following week. The thought of presenting his startup to investors excited him, but at the same time, the fear of running into Clara haunted him. He knew Victor would be with her, and that prospect unsettled him. "Are you okay?" Mariana asked, noticing the change in Lucas's expression. "You seem worried about something." "It's just the event. I'm looking forward to presenting our idea, but what if I run into Clara there?" Lucas confessed, running his hand through his hair, a nervous gesture he had when worried. "Look, you have to focus on what matters. This is your moment, Lucas. And if Clara is there, it shouldn't interfere with what you've achieved," Tiago said, encouraging him. "You're not the guy she left anymore. You're becoming someone amazing, and that's what you should show." "You're right, Tiago. I need to focus on the presentation and our project. The rest, well, I can't control," Lucas replied, taking a deep breath. He remembered his notes, what he wanted to convey on stage, and determination began to take hold of him. As the event date approached, the team dedicated themselves to rehearsing the presentation, fine-tuning details and ensuring everything was perfect. Lucas felt he was finally on the right track, and the thought of seeing Clara, although daunting, was no longer unbearable. He had a purpose, and that propelled him to move forward. Lucas was nervous as he walked through the influencer event, feeling adrenaline coursing through his veins. He had never been in such a glamorous environment, filled with successful, charismatic people. The hall, illuminated by bright lights, exuded an air of sophistication and excitement. The buzz of conversations and laughter filled the air, but Lucas's mind was focused on one single point: his presentation. He had prepared every detail meticulously, but the possibility of running into Clara made him uneasy. Then he spotted Laura, a well-known influencer recognized for her work in sustainability, approaching with a warm smile. "Hi, Lucas. I'm so excited to see your presentation. I heard you're doing something amazing." She had a captivating way about her, and Lucas felt comforted by her presence. "Hi, Laura. Thanks. I'm a bit nervous, actually. It's my first time presenting the idea to investors." He forced a smile, but his insecurity was still evident. "Relaxing is key. You're going to crush it. And your idea is fantastic. The audience will love it," Laura said encouragingly. Lucas felt that she genuinely believed in him, giving him a boost of confidence. They continued chatting about their respective passions and projects, and Lucas began to feel more at ease. But then, the atmosphere of the event shifted when Clara and Victor entered the hall. Clara looked stunning in a red dress, and Victor, by her side, exuded charm and power. Lucas felt his heart stop for a moment. He had never seen Clara so radiant, and a wave of conflicting emotions surged through his chest. "Are you okay?" Laura asked, noticing the change in Lucas. He quickly nodded, trying to hide the internal storm. "Yeah, just a little distracted. Lucas decided he needed to focus on his presentation. He knew this was a crucial moment for his future and that he had to set his emotions aside. When it was finally his turn to take the stage, his body trembled with anxiety, but he took a deep breath and began to speak about his startup. Hello everyone. I'm here to present Ecotech, a startup focused on creating technological solutions for more conscious and sustainable consumption. He scanned the audience, who seemed interested. Our first project is a line of clothing made from recycled materials, developed in partnership with a renowned designer. We want to not only offer quality products but also raise awareness about the importance of sustainable fashion. As applause filled the room, Lucas felt more confident with each word. He remembered Clara and how his passion for technology and sustainability had always been a significant part of who he was. Clara, watching from afar, felt a mix of admiration and confusion. Seeing him shine on stage reminded her of the moments they shared, the conversations about dreams and ideals. He's really doing well, Clara said to Victor, who stood beside her but seemed uninterested. Yeah, but that doesn't change anything between us, he replied dismissively, casting a disdainful look at Lucas. When Lucas finished his presentation, the audience erupted in applause. He smiled, relieved and happy. Looking at Clara, he realized that true validation was there, in that room, before the people who believed in his mission. The feelings of betrayal and despair that had consumed him now felt distant, replaced by a newfound determination. After the presentation, Laura approached him, her eyes sparkling. You were incredible. I knew you could do it. She warmly congratulated him. Lucas smiled, but his heart was still divided. Thanks, Laura. That means a lot to me. But honestly, I'm still thinking about, well, some things. He glanced in Clara's direction, feeling a lump in his throat. Laura noticed the change in his gaze and asked, You're still thinking about Clara, aren't you? Lucas hesitated but couldn't deny it. It's complicated. I thought I could move on, but seeing her here, well, it's tough. I understand. Sometimes, what we feel for someone doesn't just disappear, Laura nodded, empathizing. The event soon transformed into a party, and Lucas felt encouraged by Mariana to approach Clara for a chat. He knew he needed to clarify things between them, but the fear of rejection still consumed him. With determination, he headed toward her, his heart pounding. Clara stood watching Lucas from across the hall, surrounded by a group of people who admired her billionaire boyfriend, Victor. The influencer event was in full swing, with bright lights and laughter echoing throughout the space. Clara, however, felt a tightness in her chest. Memories of the moments she shared with Lucas flooded back, and the passion she always admired in him felt more intense than ever. He was there, on a lit stage, fervently speaking about his startup and innovative ideas. She couldn't help but wonder if she really made the right choice by distancing herself from him. As Lucas finished his presentation, the audience erupted in applause. He was radiant, his eyes shining with the emotion of what he had just accomplished. Clara couldn't help but smile at him, but her expression faded when Victor, sensing her gaze, leaned in. What are you thinking, my love? You should be proud of your boyfriend, he said, wrapping his arm around her waist as if to mark her as his possession. Yes, I am, Clara replied, but her words sounded empty. She felt torn, trapped in a world that, despite its sparkle, didn't seem to bring the satisfaction she had always sought. After the presentation, Lucas stepped off the stage still buzzing with excitement. Laura, the influencer who had shown interest in his project, congratulated him. You were amazing, Lucas. Seriously, your passion is contagious. We should think about joining forces for something bigger, she said, smiling. Lucas smiled back, but he felt an emptiness inside. Thank you, Laura. That means a lot to me, but I'm still dealing with some personal things, he replied, glancing over his shoulder at Clara. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here, Laura said, noticing the hesitation in his eyes. Sometimes, we just need a little time to find ourselves. I appreciate that, Lucas murmured, but his thoughts were far away. He couldn't get Clara off his mind. The connection they had still burned within him. Then, the party began to shift into a more relaxed vibe. Mariana, his longtime friend, appeared at his side. You nailed it. Now it's time to enjoy yourself, my friend. How about you go talk to Clara? This is your chance. She was excited, but Lucas hesitated. I don't know, Mari. What if Victor is around? Forget about him. You deserve this conversation. What do you have to lose? Mariana insisted, encouraging him with a determined look. Lucas took a deep breath, looking at the group where Clara was. He saw her laughing, but there was something in her gaze that didn't seem right. Determined, he started walking toward her. His heart raced, a mix of anxiety and hope. When Clara saw him approaching, a mix of emotions washed over her. Lucas, she said, a little surprised yet also excited. Congratulations on the presentation. It was truly inspiring. Thank you, Clara. I saw you there. You looked amazing, he replied, his gaze steady in hers. I'd like to talk a bit, if you don't mind. Sure, we can, Clara agreed, but the smile on her face seemed hesitant. They moved away from the noise of the party, finding a quieter corner. How are you? Lucas asked, trying to break the tension. I saw you with Victor. He seems, well, he is, but I don't know, Lucas, Clara began, her voice trembling. Sometimes I wonder if I'm really happy. Lucas felt a chill in his stomach. Do you still remember us? How we were, he asked, his heart tightening. I still care about you. I remember everything, Clara confessed, looking into his eyes. You've always been my inspiration, Lucas. But I didn't know if I was making the right choice. Lucas took a step closer, moving nearer to her. You don't have to feel trapped. You have more options than you think. What truly makes you happy, Clara? She hesitated, confusion evident in her gaze. I still don't know. But you're doing something incredible, and it makes me think. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken emotions, and as they exchanged sincere looks, Lucas felt that maybe there was a chance. But the pressure of Victor loomed in the air, and he knew that every second counted. Lucas looked around the party, feeling the pulse of the music and the vibrant energy filling the space. He had prepared for this moment for weeks, but now, standing next to Mariana, his confidence wavered. His heart raced especially when he spotted Clara laughing beside Victor, her new boyfriend. She looked stunning in a fitted dress that accentuated her curves, while Victor seemed the epitome of charm and wealth. Lucas felt a knot form in his throat. I don't know if I can do this, Mari, he said, shaking his head, trying to push Clara from his mind. You can, Lucas. You have to go talk to her. This is your chance to show her how much you've grown, Mariana replied, encouragingly, giving him a gentle push. With a deep sigh, Lucas decided it was time to act. He started walking toward Clara, but before he could get close, Victor appeared like a guardian. The billionaire, with a confident smile, wrapped an arm around Clara as if to shield her from anyone who might approach. Look who's here. The great Lucas, Victor exclaimed, his voice laced with sarcasm. I heard you're making videos about sustainability. How interesting. Lucas forced a smile, trying to ignore the provocative tone. Thanks, Victor. I really believe we can make a difference, he replied, feeling the tension rise. Clara, sensing the situation, tried to intervene. Lucas, how are you? I heard about your presentation. I'm good, Clara. I just presented my startup and, Lucas hesitated, feeling the weight of Victor's presence. And I hope you liked what you saw. I did. It was amazing. Clara smiled, but Lucas noticed a shadow in her eyes. Victor, noticing the interaction, turned to Clara. Shall we dance, my love? He said, pulling Clara away from Lucas. Lucas felt his heart sink. He wanted to scream, to show Clara that he was more than just an ex-boyfriend. But what could he do? Mariana approached him, sensing his frustration, and commented, Don't give up, Lucas. The party is far from over. You need to find a moment alone with her. And so Lucas stepped back, taking a deep breath and trying to gather his strength. He couldn't let Victor intimidate him. Sometime later, while Lucas was chatting with other influencers, Clara slipped away from Victor and, in a moment of courage, approached Lucas, who was in a corner of the party. They found each other in a quieter nook, away from the loud music and bright lights. "Lucas, can we talk?" Clara asked, her voice a bit hesitant yet firm. He nodded, his heart racing. "Of course, Clara. What would you like to say?" I feel like we need to talk about what happened between us," Clara began, looking at the ground as if weighing each word. "After you left me, I really didn't know what to expect. Victor is safe, but I don't know if that's what I truly want." Lucas felt a chill in his stomach. "I'm not sure what happened between us either, but the truth is I've never stopped thinking about you," he confessed, looking into her eyes. "I dedicated myself to building something that could make me feel alive again. And you're still an important part of that." Clara lifted her head, and her eyes sparkled with a mix of emotion and confusion. "I admire your determination, Lucas. You're doing amazing things. But I don't know if I can just leave all this behind. I'm not asking you to leave Victor right now, but I would like to know if there's still something between us," Lucas replied, sincerity in his voice making Clara hesitate. I don't know." Clara looked at the ground, struggling to articulate her thoughts. "I'm confused. Sometimes, I feel like I'm living a lie next to Victor." The conversation was intensifying, but a familiar voice interrupted the moment. Era Victor, who approached with an authoritative demeanor. "Clara, we need to go." He glanced at Lucas with disdain. "This is no place for you." Frustrated, Lucas watched Clara hesitate, a look of conflict etched on her face. He realized that, at that moment, everything could change. Lucas was determined. After his experience at the influencer event, where he had the chance to showcase his idea to the world, he felt a surge of motivation and adrenaline. With a renewed focus on his startup, he stepped away from Clara, resolved to concentrate on his personal and professional growth. On that sunny morning, he sat at his workspace, surrounded by drafts and notes. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air as he typed furiously on his laptop. "Tiago, Mariana, come here," Lucas called out, his tone filled with excitement. Tiago and Mariana, who were lounging on the sofa, got up and approached, curious. "I just received an offer from an investor who is interested in our idea. He wants to schedule a meeting." "That's amazing, Lucas," Tiago exclaimed, clapping his hands. "We're ready for this." "Yes, you're the star of our show, partner." Mariana smiled, already thinking about how they could present the project impactfully. Lucas took a deep breath, feeling the pressure rise, but excitement surged within him as well. "We need to review our pitch and prepare some eye-catching visual materials. This investment could be exactly what we need to take a big leap." The following days turned into a true marathon of work. Lucas, Mariana, and Tiago gathered every day, often late into the night, to refine their presentation. They discussed every detail, from the environmental impact of fashion to the solutions their startup could offer. Lucas felt more confident with each rehearsal, realizing he wasn't just selling an idea, but a dream that could change lives. On the day of the meeting, Lucas's anxiety was at an all-time high. He dressed carefully, choosing a shirt that reflected his style but also conveyed seriousness. "Let's go, team. This is a unique opportunity," he said as they entered the meeting room. The investor, a respected businessman named Carlos, awaited them with an attentive gaze. "Hello, young entrepreneurs. I'm curious to hear what you have to offer." Lucas began the presentation, feeling adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Our project aims to create a sustainable fashion platform that connects ethical brands to conscious consumers. The fashion industry is one of the most polluting globally, and we want to change that." The words flowed from his lips with a passion he didn't know he possessed. He spoke about the choices consumers can make and how every purchase can have a positive impact. With each slide presented, he saw Carlos's eyes light up more, fueling his motivation even further. "You truly believe in what you're doing. That's essential," Carlos commented as they wrapped up the presentation. I need to know, what do you plan to do with the investment? We want to expand our platform, increase our online presence, and most importantly, educate the public on the importance of sustainable fashion, Mariana responded confidently. Carlos paused, as if weighing their words. I like what I see. I will invest in your idea, but I want you to commit to showing results within a year. Lucas could hardly believe what he was hearing. This is incredible. We promise we won't let you down. After the meeting, Lucas and his team emerged from the room with broad smiles. We did it. We did it. Tiago shouted, breaking into a celebratory dance. And this is just the beginning, everyone, Lucas said, feeling more determined than ever. This gives us the chance to truly make a difference. As they celebrated, Lucas couldn't help but think of Clara. The thrill of victory was undeniable, but there was still a void in his heart. He knew he was building something great, yet the connection he had with her lingered in his mind. However, in that moment, he decided to focus on what truly mattered: his vision and mission. The determination to transform his startup into a success was all he needed to move forward, even if Clara still occupied a place in his mind and heart. Lucas was in a moment of great transformation. After months of hard work and total dedication to his startup, he received an offer from a reputable magazine for an interview. The invitation made him nervous but also excited. It was an opportunity to share his story of overcoming challenges and to show the world that success is not measured solely by wealth, but also by values. On the morning of the interview, Lucas was in his office, decorated with plants and artwork that reflected his passion for sustainability. He prepared himself, nervous, looking in the mirror. You can do this, Lucas. Just be yourself, he murmured to himself, taking a deep breath. When the time came, he found the magazine reporters seated at his table. Hi, I'm Lucas, he said, extending his hand, trying to conceal his apprehension. Hi, Lucas. We're very eager to hear about your journey, one of the journalists replied, smiling. The conversation flowed naturally, and Lucas felt more at ease with each question. How do you feel about your recent success? The journalist asked. I'd say it's a mix of gratitude and responsibility, Lucas replied, looking her in the eyes. I'm not just creating a company. I'm trying to make a difference. I believe technology can be an ally in the fight for sustainability. I want to inspire people to rethink their consumption choices. And how do you deal with criticism? You mentioned recently in a video that some people don't believe your mission is feasible, the reporter continued. Criticism will always exist. The important thing is to know how to filter what truly matters. I focus on the supportive messages and the people who believe in me and what I'm doing. My friends Tiago and Mariana have been fundamental in this process. They constantly remind me of why I'm doing all this, Lucas reflected, feeling more confident with each answer. Throughout the interview, the questions grew deeper, and Lucas found himself talking about his recent breakup with Clara. At first, it was hard to deal with the loss, but I realized I needed to reinvent myself. Not just for me, but for everyone who counts on me for this project, he revealed, feeling a pang in his heart at the memory of Clara. It seems that this change has propelled you positively. Do you see yourself as an example for others who are facing similar challenges? The journalist inquired. I hope so. If my story can inspire someone to follow their dreams, then it will all be worth it. Life is short, and the time we spend lamenting is time lost. We need to focus on what we can build, not on what we've left behind, Lucas concluded, a sparkle in his eyes. The response to the interview was surprising. Soon, Lucas began to notice a significant increase in his social media following. Messages of support and encouragement flooded his inbox. He felt more motivated than ever, as if every word he had shared in the interview had resonated with many other souls. On a sunny morning, while reviewing some emails from potential investors, Lucas received a message from Mariana. Lucas, you won't believe it. I just saw your name featured in the business section of a magazine. We need to celebrate. Lucas smiled as he read the message. He quickly replied, yes, we do. I'm thinking of a brunch at the new cafe that opened on the corner. And you, Tiago, are invited too. Tiago arrived later, already excited. Congrats, man. You're on fire. Now everyone will want to invest in your idea. I hope so. But more important than the money is finding people who share the same vision as I do, Lucas said thoughtfully. I want our mission to be not just a project, but a movement. Mariana, always pragmatic, added. And you're on the right track. This story of overcoming challenges will inspire many. Speaking of which, have you considered collaborating with someone on a social impact project? I think it could be a great way to amplify your message. Lucas nodded, considering the idea. Yes, that makes sense. We could create something that not only promotes sustainability but also helps local communities. I'll think about it seriously. The trio continued discussing their ideas and plans, dreaming big about what the future could hold. Lucas felt that he was finally on the right path, not just to financial success but toward a greater purpose that drove him forward. The day of the launch for his startup's new sustainable clothing collection arrived. Anxiety hung in the air, and he was determined to make this event a milestone in his journey. Lucas wore an organic cotton shirt and pants made from recycled materials, a reflection of what his brand represented. He looked in the mirror and took a deep breath, trying to calm the nerves bubbling inside him. The event's decor was immaculate, with natural plants and soft lighting creating a welcoming atmosphere. Meanwhile, Clara, sitting in her room, looked at the outfit she had chosen. It was an elegant piece, but she felt insecure. What if I don't fit into his life anymore? She thought, consumed by hesitation. On one hand, it was attractive to be alongside Victor, the billionaire who surrounded her with luxury. On the other, there was a genuine connection with Lucas that she couldn't ignore. When she finally decided to go, Clara felt as if she was about to open the door to a new chapter in her life. Upon arriving at the event, Clara was impressed by the number of people crowded together to see the new collection. The atmosphere was filled with excitement and anticipation. As she entered, she spotted Lucas animatedly conversing with some influencers. He was radiant, a positive energy radiating from him. Clara couldn't help but notice how he seemed more mature, more confident. It was as if he had left behind not only the shadow of their relationship, but also the insecurities that had accompanied him. Lucas, Clara called as she approached him. He turned, and his face lit up upon seeing her. Hi, Clara. I'm so glad you came. The sincerity in his voice was palpable. I couldn't miss this. I felt I needed to see what you've been up to, she replied, a nervous smile on her lips. I'm really happy you're here. You're going to love the collection. We worked hard to ensure everything was produced sustainably, Lucas said, gently pulling her toward the area where the clothes were displayed. Each piece told a story, and Lucas was eager to share every detail. It's truly amazing, Lucas. You've created something very special here, Clara complimented, admiring a dress made from recycled plastic bottles. She turned to him, and for a moment, their eyes met, heavy with memories and unresolved feelings. I really hope you like it. This is all part of something bigger. I want people to see that it's possible to make a difference, he said, passion spilling over in his words. As they wandered through the event, Clara found herself increasingly engaged. Lucas's energy was contagious, and she began to realize the impact his startup was having. People were interested, asking questions, and the audience was clearly impressed. The highlight of the night arrived when Lucas, with a nervous smile, prepared to give a speech. Clara stood off to the side, watching him. I want everyone to know that this project is not just about fashion. It's about a change in mindset. We're here to show that every choice we make can impact the world, he began, and applause echoed throughout the room. After the presentation, as everyone celebrated, Clara felt overwhelmed by emotion. She wanted to congratulate him, but she also needed to process everything she was feeling. When they finally found each other, Lucas pulled her aside to a quieter corner, away from the party's hustle and bustle. Clara, He started but was interrupted by the emotion welling up in his throat. Lucas, I'm so proud of you, Clara said, feeling the words come out more easily than she had imagined. That means a lot to me. I really hope you see what I'm trying to do here. I want to change the world, and that includes you, Lucas declared, his gaze intense and hopeful. Clara smiled, but her heart was confused. The reunion was awakening feelings she thought she had buried. I don't know what to say, she admitted, her eyes shining. Just know that, regardless of what happens, I'll be here. You will always have a place by my side, Lucas said sincerely. And in that moment, Clara realized that despite all the uncertainties, the connection between them was still strong, pulsing, and full of possibilities. Lucas was at a launch event for a new product from his startup, surrounded by journalists and influencers, when he received a message from an old college friend. The text spoke about Victor and alerted Lucas to the dubious interests he had regarding his company. Lucas's heart raced as he read the words. He felt a mix of concern and determination. He always knew Victor wasn't the type to care about others' well-being, but this information was graver than he had imagined. With the message still fresh in his mind, Lucas spotted Clara across the room, animatedly chatting with a group of people. Her beauty was undeniable, and Victor's presence beside her made everything even more complicated. Lucas took a deep breath and decided he needed to confront Victor. Not just for himself, but also for Clara. He could not allow her to continue being manipulated by someone with ill intentions. He approached Victor, who was laughing at something someone had said. Lucas wasted no time and addressed him, cutting into the conversation. Victor, we need to talk. It's about Clara. The expression on Victor's face changed instantly, from carefree joy to a challenging glare. What do you want, Lucas? I don't see how this concerns you, Victor replied, crossing his arms and stepping forward as if preparing for a confrontation. I can't stay silent while you're using Clara as an accessory for your public image, Lucas said, his voice steady. I've heard some things about your business dealings that aren't exactly clean. You're trying to take advantage of her and my startup. Victor laughed, but it wasn't genuine laughter. Do you really think you can accuse me of something like that? Look at you, Lucas. You have nothing. You're just a second-rate influencer trying to make it big with your sustainability startup. And Clara? She deserves more than you can offer. Lucas felt anger rise within him, but he kept his composure. She deserves someone who respects and loves her for who she is, not someone who sees her as a tool to elevate his status. What you're doing to her is wrong, and you know it. At that moment, Clara approached, unaware of the tension hanging in the air. What's happening here? She asked, looking from Lucas to Victor, confused. We're just having a chat, Clara. Don't worry about it, Victor said, trying to smooth over the situation. But Lucas saw the look in Clara's eyes. She seemed uneasy, as if sensing there was something deeper behind Victor's words. It's not just a chat, Clara, Lucas interjected. Victor is trying to manipulate you. He doesn't care about you. He just wants to use your image to promote himself. I've heard things about him that you need to know. Clara looked at Lucas, a mix of surprise and concern in her expression. What did you hear, Lucas? He hesitated for a moment, but determination took over. I learned that he's interested in your image and my company. He wants to use you as an accessory, Clara. You're just a piece in his puzzle. Victor couldn't hold back and shot back. You can't believe this guy. He's just jealous because you're with me. He doesn't want what's best for you, Clara. He wants you to be stuck with him in mediocrity. Clara felt her heart tighten. Lucas's words hit her hard, but Victor's tone made her feel uncertain. I don't know what to think, she said, looking from one to the other. You need to think clearly, Clara. This isn't about me or how I feel. It's about you, Lucas said, his tone softening. You deserve someone who truly values you. Victor, realizing he was losing control of the situation, stepped toward Clara. Come on, babe. This isn't the time for you to listen to this loser. He just wants to drive a wedge between us. But Clara was paralyzed, absorbing Lucas's words and the tension between the two men. She took a deep breath and finally decided, Victor, I need some time to think. What Lucas is saying. I want to understand. Victor's gaze turned to fury, but Clara didn't let herself be intimidated. She knew she needed to make a decision. Lucas watched her, his heart racing, hoping she would choose the right path. Clara walked hesitantly toward the bar, her heart beating unevenly. She had made a crucial decision, a brave step that would free her from the shackles Victor had imposed on her life. The words she had heard about him, revealed by Lucas, echoed in her mind, making her question all the choices she had made up to that point. Now, in front of Lucas, she felt the urgency to break free from a superficial relationship and understand what she truly wanted. Lucas leaned against a wall, nervous, the anticipation and fear of rejection still consuming him. He watched as Clara approached, her face filled with emotion. When their eyes met, something shifted. It was as if time had stopped and everything around them became irrelevant. Clara took a deep breath, her hands trembling as she drew near. "Lucas," she began, her voice shaky. I broke up with Victor." The revelation hit like a bombshell. Lucas couldn't believe what he was hearing. You ended things. "How do you feel?" he asked, anxious. "Confused," Clara admitted, looking down, avoiding Lucas's penetrating gaze. "But I know I need to be honest with you and with myself. What I had with Victor was never what I really wanted. He made me feel important, but deep down, I knew it was just a facade." Lucas stepped forward, his heart racing. "I always knew you deserved more than that. You deserve someone who sees you for who you really are, not just as an accessory." He hesitated for a moment before continuing. "I never stopped caring about you, Clara." She looked up, her eyes shining with emotion. "I never stopped loving you, Lucas. Even when I was with Victor, a part of me missed you, our connection. You always made me feel alive, and I lost that." The sincerity in Clara's words warmed Lucas's heart. "So, what are we waiting for? We can build something together, without masks, without games. I want you by my side as we pursue our passions." Clara smiled, the tension starting to dissipate. "I want that too. But there's so much to consider. I can't just ignore everything that happened." "I understand," Lucas said, pausing to reflect. "But what matters now is what we want for the future. We can support each other, face challenges together. I will always be here for you." The environment around them began to vibrate with energy, but everything felt distant. Clara felt a mix of hope and anxiety as she looked into Lucas's eyes. "So, let's start from scratch. For real. No fantasies. No illusions." "Yes," Lucas replied, his heart filled with determination. "Let's build something authentic. I want to see your light shine, Clara, because you deserve that. Together, we can make a difference." In that moment, Clara moved closer to him, the connection that had always been there now becoming palpable. "Lucas, I don't know what the future holds for us, but I want to explore it by your side. I want us to be a team, to fight for our dreams." "I want that too," Lucas affirmed, holding her hand. "You have no idea how much this means to me. Together, we'll turn our ideas into reality. We'll show the world that true happiness comes from within, not from status or wealth." Clara smiled, a genuine smile that lit up her face. "Then let's do this. Let's be the change we want to see. And, above all, let's support each other unconditionally." And so, in that moment of reconciliation, Lucas and Clara committed to facing the future together. They knew the path wouldn't be easy, but the certainty that they were side by side, ready to support each other on their journeys, was all they needed. They realized that true success wasn't just in their personal achievements, but in the ability to love and stay true to themselves and to each other.